Well, what's up, guys? It's your boy Loki, the number one most famous VTuber in the world. Do not look that up. Today I want to talk about this new survival craft game, which is very visually similar to Moana, called Voyagers of Nera, but I just call it Moana, because I think that's funny. I have a lot of notes here, so I'm going to try to stick to the script as much as possible. It's not really a script, but whatever. I'm going to try to stick to what I have written here as much as possible so that we're not sitting here for an hour. I guess first and foremost, start with the positives. I think it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's quite where I want it to be in terms of features and polish, but it does have a ton of potential. There's a lot that could be tweaked and added that would really make it stand out, but I gotta be honest, I don't have a ton positive to say, so we're just gonna skip past that and get right into all of my gripes, and you can decide for yourself if these are a big enough deal that you don't want to play, or if you can live with them and you want to give it a go. So starting off, it borrows a lot, from Ark in terms of like its progression style. You level up through performing actions like doing combat, chopping wood, breaking rocks, and etc. And then you'll get a certain number of points to work with that you can use to unlock different things in the crafting tree. Basically like engrams. One of the differences is you unlock like material sets altogether for crafting and building and stuff like that. Like you don't have to individually unlock like ladders, walls, doors, roofs. You just unlock like the makeshift building set and the wooden building set, and it comes with all the different things that you can build out of with that material. I do like that, but I think the leveled progression system is unwelcome and unnecessary. I don't feel like it makes any logical sense for my ability to craft with wood versus my ability to craft with like thatch and fibers to be locked behind some arbitrary level value. I hate it. I hate it a lot. I think few things are more frustrating than finding a new material and going, oh, you have to grind mobs for a few hours before I can use this. Like, I do understand the need for progression, but maybe just make special materials only spawn decently far from the initial spawn point and stick to that. Like, I don't want to discover a new material just to have to arbitrarily cut down X number of trees and kill Y number of little stone goblins until I'm a high enough level to build houses that are round instead of square. I just think that's obnoxious. It's tedious, it's a waste of time, and it's anticlimactic too, you know. It's a huge buzzkill, and this kind of progression is particularly annoying for those players who just want to find a cool spot, settle down, build a pretty home. They're not going to want to venture out and hunt a million monsters for the privilege of building pretty furniture. Plus, this takes away from role assignment in multiplayer. Everyone is going to have to dabble in adventuring for whatever it is they want to craft, no matter what role they want to have. So if this system weren't in place, I could have somebody be the dedicated builder, and I could go out and hunt the mobs and get all, you know, the monster materials and so on and so forth. But that's not going to work, because if I bring back a bunch of rare materials to the person who's supposed to be the designated builder and their level's not high enough, they're going to have to go off and grind mobs anyway. And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that very much at all. Maybe they could have a skill-based progression system instead if they did want to lock things behind a level, so that way the builders, as they're working on building houses and huts and so on and so forth, they're raising their building skills, so that way by the time somebody brings back a special material, the person who's been doing all the adventuring and material gathering might not be, you know, up to par in their building skill to build something cool, but the person who's been staying behind and working on the buildings is. Or we could just do away with the level requirements completely. I think that would be ideal. Like, you just find the material and then you're able to build this stuff, kind of like Minecraft. I think that would work just fine. It's a little bit simplistic, right? But I don't know, maybe there's something in between this progression system and a lack of a progression system that would feel good and balanced, but I do not like the way it is right now. I don't like having to stop and grind and raise my level when I found something new to work with. It's just irritating. It's also one of those games where beds need a roof for some ungodly reason. Like, no one's ever roughed it beneath the stars before, so you can't just drop a sleeping bag or a tent and rest. You have to build a whole ass floor and then a wall and then a roof just to pass the night, which really takes away from the kind of Voyager aspect of Voyagers of Nera. It makes it feel like you can't really travel super far and then just rest and carry on your way. You have to go out and do whatever it is that you're doing and then make your way back home by nightfall, so you'll be able to pass the night. And this could get very bothersome in multiplayer. I only played with just one person so far. It was just me and Jib kind of testing the game out to see if multiplayer would change my mind on anything at all. It didn't. But yeah, if you have a server full of, let's say, 10 people, and you all want to pass the night, but like half of them are not home, and they have to stop, drop, and build a little pizza slice of a shack just to, you know, toss a makeshift bedroll down to pass the night. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Maybe they could keep it that way and just add in another item, like a little tent or something that you can use to pass the night while you're out and about. But as is, do not care for it. I also want to throw out there that I do realize I've only played the demo version of the game. The full version is supposed to come out sometime in August, so maybe things are going to be different. But as it stands now, from what I got to play, I wasn't super impressed. But moving on. Some of my gripes are really more nitpicky. Like for one, sound design is I feel borderline absent. Like, there's decent music. It could use a little work in that department too. But what music there is pretty good. There's some crickets chirping at night and a very quiet sound of waves. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot in the sound department. Like your character doesn't really have any notable footstep sounds. They're there, but they're very soft. I don't think they vary with what you're stepping on, if I recall. And again, they're very quiet. Your character doesn't make any sound at all outside of those footsteps, aside from when taking damage, and it doesn't match the look of your character, like, at all. It sounds like it's coming from, like, a hobgoblin. The game is also pretty rudimentary. Combat is very basic and pretty slow. Campfires stay lit forever. There's no depth in that department. You don't have to fuel them. Equipment repair is instant and has no cost, no animation, no nothing. You can't even sit on the chairs that you can make, so it kind of begs the question, why are they even there? They're literally just decorations. Maybe in the full version of the game you'll be able to sit on them, but if you can now, I could not figure it out, and that ticked me off probably more than it should. Another little gripe of mine is I'm extremely sick of games borrowing from Breath of the Wild. Not so much in the visual department, like that's fine. I don't mind cel-shaded graphics. I think Voyagers of Nera looks great. The lighting is awesome. The environment's pretty cool. But if I have to see that stupid circular stamina bar that manifests in the middle of nowhere in one more game, I'm going to lose my mind. Also, the game has a glider, just like Breath of the Wild. You don't get to use it in the demo, because that's way past the level that's accessible while you're in the demo, but yeah, it has it. And if it wanted to have something in terms of vertical gameplay, I really wish that it would go the extra mile and make something a little more unique, but it didn't. So yeah, there's that, and it just leaves me wanting. It's frustrating. Like, I get that Breath of the Wild is a good game, a popular game, but I've really have had enough of this. I'm a little bit torn on whether I want the game to implement, like, wind mechanics like Valheim has, or really any game with sailing has. In this one, you just open up your sail, and you can move at top speed no matter which direction you're facing. You don't have to worry about wind in your face or wind at your back to go faster. And on the one hand, I'm kind of like, I spent a lot of time in Valheim going against the wind. Like, I swear to God, the game does that on purpose. So I kind of am not angry that that hasn't been happening, but on the other, sailing is pretty boring and not very engaging, and it's a little slow too, so I feel like it could use a little something extra in that department just to make traversal feel a little, I don't know, just a little more. My biggest, weirdest nitpick, you're gonna think I'm crazy for this one, but I think the starting area needs to be a little bit uglier. And the reason for that is, you know, again, the game is called Voyagers of Nera. The entire point is you're supposed to voyage out from where you've begun, I would think. But the starting area is practically paradise. Like, it is perfect. It's gorgeous. There's plenty of open space. It's safe. There's really no reason to seek out other locations to build your villages, because the spot is just incredible. So yeah, either that needs to be a little uglier, maybe, like put that cool area somewhere else, or just make the surrounding areas even more interesting, because as it stands, the islands that you can visit are not very interesting. It's just like a little swath of land and some trees, maybe some rocks to climb, but there's more biomes coming, so that's a small nitpick. It also bothers me that there aren't any emotes. I would hope this is going to change in the final game. I haven't seen anything saying so or saying otherwise, but I would hope there's going to be emotes, like maybe sitting, lying down. Given the mythology and the culture that the game takes from, it might be cool if you could do some haka. One of my ideas was, like, some of the spirit powers could be activated by different kinds of haka. I think that would be very cool. I would also like to see more options in terms of character creation. It's incredibly bare bones right now. There's like a small handful of hairstyles. There's beard or no beard. The basic settings kind of make you look like Tamara Morrison, so I just went with that and talked like him for the entire recording. Why does my recording have a chat box? Who are you? How did you get here? They are fruit, you simpleton. I am the chief Polynesian spa. Yeah, it could use a little bit extra in that department. And my final nitpick, the last one, is that camera sensitivity feels really strange. Like, it feels like it kind of like starts off slow when you start to move the camera, and then it like throttles up the longer you're moving it. And on mouse and keyboard, that feels absolutely god-awful. And as far as I could tell, there was no option to change the sensitivity. At least there wasn't in the demo. Maybe in the full game, we will see. But final thoughts as we go to wrap this up. I think the game, like I said, has really great potential, but it's really just too basic and simplistic and rudimentary in a lot of areas for me. It uses the same like satiation system as Valheim, where you don't have to eat, but if you do, you can increase your maximum health. And even then, that's not the same as Valheim, because I think that increases your maximum stamina too. But in Voyagers of Nera, it's just your health. So there's that. The building is pretty solid. I like the different options you have for snapping and turning and free place, etc., etc. I didn't get to play with much of it because I think only makeshift and wood are available to you in the demo, and all the other stuff like the cool round buildings that you'll see in the trailer are locked in the demo, won't be available until the full game. But even just from what is there, it feels pretty good to craft. Again, there's no interactability with the furniture. I think that's a serious missed opportunity in terms of immersion. You guys know how I am. Immersion is the biggest thing for me in a game. So something as small as not being able to sit in a chair really, really bothers me and takes me out of it. But I think that's it. I think that's all I really have to say about it. Cool looking game, very cool visually, lots of great ideas. I will be keeping an eye on it, but it just needs a little bit more. It's hard to sit here and say exactly what more it needs, because I feel like every single department it has is just a little tiny bit lacking. The sailing's a little bit too slow and has no wind mechanics. The traversal is kind of slow and sluggish, and again, in the vertical department, borrows from Breath of the Wild, which I hate it. I'm sick of gliders. I think that's about it. Like, I thought I was going to sit here and talk for a lot longer, but all it really boils down to is the game has a lot of good ideas and it just could use a little bit more in every single department. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for listening to my poorly organized TED Talk, and I'll see you next time. Another huge thank you to my patron, Korn, for supporting me. I'm starting to feel kind of bad, though, for having to single him out like this. So if you want to join him and help support bigger, better videos, there's a link to my Patreon in the description. But if not, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to become another soldier in my battle against the algorithm.